What's up everyone? So today I thought it would be fun to make a top 10 list of games that I completed in 2022. Now this is not 100% completion, this is just completing the storyline or whatever objectives in the main storyline. So in the year of 2022, I was really itching to play a lot more turn-based fighting RPG adventure games, and so a lot of these games are turn-based fighting games. The first game on my list is Costume Quest. Now this is a arcade game for the Xbox 360. It originally released on Xbox Live Arcade. So Costume Quest is kind of like a fun kids game that does incorporate some turn-based fighting in it. But the main storyline is, you're trying to save your sister from this evil witch that, kidnapped her, and you have to go knocking on doors, door by door, collecting candy and fighting the bad goblins. And I was mainly looking for a game to play during Halloween season because Halloween is definitely my favorite holiday. The second game on my list is actually Pokemon Sword. Now, I didn't actually buy this. My brother owned it, he beat it, and I just asked if I could borrow it to play, and I did. I was really looking to play some Pokemon handheld games again. I played all of them on the Game Boy Advance, but I never owned a Nintendo DS or 3DS, so I missed out on all those games. And now that they're making games on the Switch, this was, I think, the first one released besides the Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu. It was a game that I picked up and I couldn't stop playing it. I still fell in love with the franchise. It definitely taught me a lot more of the new Pokemon that came out for all those versions that I missed out on. Now, the next game on my list is a little different. So I started my game collecting in 2022, and it opened the door for me for a lot of games that I wouldn't have played otherwise. And one of those games was Guitar Hero World Tour. Now, going Goodwill hunting, I found, tons and tons of guitars for the Wii, and that allowed easy access to actually just get the game and play it. So this Guitar Hero World Tour was the first Guitar Hero game that I played and I beat. So there were a lot of great artists on the soundtrack for this game. I mean, you had Coldplay, Michael Jackson, Paramore, Linkin Park. And this was also like a hit of nostalgia too, back in like the early or the late 2000s, where a lot of these songs were released. And so listening to all this again was a blast. The next game on my list is called The Forgotten City. Now, this was originally a Skyrim mod that eventually got turned into its own game. So The Forgotten City is a story-based game. I don't want to spoil the plot too much, but the plot is very similar to Groundhog's Day, Edge of Tomorrow concept. Basically, after entering a cave, you end up in this world where they do not allow any crimes, any sins. And if something like that does happen, then everyone in the town gets turned into stone or gold. So your objective in here is to kind of unsolve a mystery of why it's happening. But when crime is committed, then you must hurry up to a portal, which basically resets the world, and you start from the beginning again. So the next game on my list is actually a 4-player co-op game, and that is Back 4 Blood. Now this is the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. I don't think it's as good as those, but it's still a fun shooting game, killing zombies. There's different types of zombies that are a lot stronger, and I played this with 3 of my friends and we just played through it all. It wasn't too difficult. There were parts where we got stuck and we all died. I think the final boss is definitely a tough one too. Definitely check it out if you have nothing better to play. So the next game on my list is actually Red Dead Revolver. So I played a lot of Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2. This one is the predecessor to those. It's not an open world game. It's more linear, more story driven, but I had a lot of fun playing this game. I mean, I put it into my Xbox, played it, and I was hooked within 30 minutes, right? And I just kept playing it. I couldn't stop playing it. The gameplay is pretty good. It's your shooter, your third person shooter game. The bosses in this game are really fun. I think I was stuck on one part. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a part where you're in front of a mansion and there's just tons and tons of people that are coming and you have to kill all of them. Definitely check this out. I'm also a really big fan of the Western cowboy style games and that era of the timeline. The number 4 game on my list was actually the most recent one that I just beat, and that is High on Life. Now, I got this for free on the Xbox Game Pass. It is a first-person shooter, very comedy style game. Definitely check it out. It's where, you know, it's got the voice of Rick and Morty. I'm not sure which one because I haven't seen the show, but it's got like JD Smooth, the comedian, as one of the gun voices. I haven't played like a comedy style game like that since maybe like Borderlands. I think South Park Stick of Truth was one that was really funny, but still the same kind of style of game. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air. It definitely made me want to go back and play first-person shooter games, because I used to play a lot of Halo 3 and Call of Duty Black Ops way back on the Xbox 360. So I definitely had a lot of fun playing this game as well. This leaves me to the top 3 games on my list. So the number 3 game is Pokemon Legends Arceus. So after I beat Sword, I definitely wanted to play this one next. I'm still not sure how I feel about the new game mechanics of actually catching the Pokemon, but it definitely kept me engaged, and it was something new. I understand that the company Game Freak is definitely trying to revolutionize the Pokemon games, change things up a little bit, and try new things out, so definitely props to them for doing that. There wasn't much trainer to trainer battling in this game. It was more battling just Pokemon on their own. I mean, this did kind of take place a little farther back on the storyline of Pokemon. So number 2 on my list is a game that I know I'm gonna get a lot of criticism for not playing, but it's actually Final Fantasy X. I was recommended to play this from a lot of people, and so I picked it up for, you know, the PlayStation 2, and I wanted to play it on a more modern system. So I saw that it was released for the Xbox One, and I picked it up. The game still runs and looks great. I kind of wish I played a little bit of it on the PlayStation 2 because I wanted to see just how the graphics looked. I bet, you know, years ago when this first released, this game looked amazing. Some of the cinematics are just beautiful. The music is beautiful. The storyline is beautiful. The boss fights were a lot of fun. Some of them were difficult as well. But this is your turn-based fighting game. Absolutely loved it. The storyline was great. I know I still have to play part 2, but I've been hearing mixed reviews on it from a lot of people. So we'll see if I do end up playing that or not. And the last game on my list that I completed was Luigi's Mansion. I actually purchased this game a couple years back, and I had played it to a point, I think I got like halfway through the game. And so what happened was I played my Joy-Cons a lot because I played Smash Bros. Ultimate a lot, and you know, jamming those buttons and moving those analog sticks a lot can cause damage. So my Joy-Cons did get the Joy-Con drift, and I just ended up getting rid of those Joy-Cons. I had GameCube controllers with the GameCube adapter, and so I was playing all my Switch games with that. And when I came back to playing this game, I got stuck because the GameCube is missing one of the bumper buttons, the left bumper button, and so I couldn't use one of the moves that Luigi has to progress forward into the story. And so it wasn't until I actually got another controller, a wireless, I think I got like the Afterglow controller, which those work perfectly fine. And then I was able to progress through. Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely a great game. It's, you know, your typical 3D platformer game. And that concludes my list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have other games to recommend me, I'll gladly take a look into and playing this year. I thought it would be fun to just, you know, go over the games I played last year. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.